Hi everyone, and welcome back to Weekly Cooking with Becky. Please make sure to hit subscribe down below. The recipe will be in the description, and feel free to head on over to Facebook to Living Low Carb with Becky and join my page there, where not only do I share these recipes, but I share health information throughout the week. Today's recipe is ridiculously easy, and it is a recipe that's meant to last over a couple of days. We are going to make pulled pork. Really easy. So the first thing that I already have done is I have put a half of a cup of chicken stock in a slow cooker. That'll be on warm, and we're getting ready to prepare the pulled pork. I will tell you when I drop the description of the recipe that I will put some of my own notes in there. The cooking time is off by 1 hour, and they didn't give you all the nutrition facts, but I did. So make sure you check the recipe link, but then also check my add-ons for making it truly correctly and at the right amount of time to have it cooked all the way through. Okay, so right now all I have in the slow cooker is a half a cup of chicken stock, and now we need to prepare the pork. For the pork, you will need 3 pounds of pork shoulder or pork butt, preferably boneless. Now I gotta tell you something. Went to 3 stores yesterday and meat's on short supply. So I could easily buy 20 pounds of pork roast, but I didn't want 20 pounds, I wanted 3. So I found one store at the end of the day that I could get 4 pounds with bone in. And I figured, well, 4 pounds bone in is about 3 pounds boneless. So I actually have a bone in. If you score a 3 pound boneless, go for it. Otherwise, just up it a pound like I did, because bone weighs about that, and then you can cook exactly the same. All right, so let's get started. Let me show you the pork, and I'll be bringing up a visitor here in a moment. So on this, I have my 4 pounds, but it's got a bone in it. You will notice there's a heavy layer of fat that's on one side. And I will tell you, I have already gone around and cut off a lot of fat. Any places with thick white, cut off, but there will be a big white ridge. And just for time's sake, I just laid it back on top. I already cut it. So make sure you toss that. You will still have bits of white, which is fine for flavoring, but you don't want all that excess. So at this time, we are going to liberally coat it with pink Himalayan sea salt. If you don't have that, use regular, but remember, pink Himalayan sea salt has all those electrolytes, and ground pepper. So this is where my guest is going to come, because I can't touch the salt and pepper with pork on my hands. And I can't hit pause, so I need my guest. So he's coming. You'll only see his hands, but you're gonna see me literally crevice every single area with the salt and the pepper. Alrighty, which one are you starting with? Okay, so right now he's doing the pepper. Just getting all over as much as possible. Our pepper meal's old, and I'm just kind of pressing it into the meat. Every single area of the pork needs covered. Okay. Do you want to switch to salt, or do you just want to do all the pepper first? So that way we have it evenly. So now we're doing the pink Himalayan sea salt. Once again, I'm rubbing it into the meat. And then I just turn to the next side. We get every single side thoroughly coated. It'll give that peppery flavoring that you want without it being too strong, and you can see it's very coarse. Remember, pink Himalayan has electrolytes in it, and when you're on a low carb diet, you need to add electrolytes whenever possible to your foods. And I'm just pushing it in there. We've got enough. Last side, guys, last side. All right. This is the longest part, probably, of most of your meal. Is just putting the salt and pepper everywhere. Some more salt up there. Okay, I'm gonna do a super quick wash of my hands, only so I can tilt the camera back up to you guys. And I am placing this directly into the crock pot with a half cup of chicken stock. Be right back. Okay, so at this time, you will see it is in the crock pot. The lid is on. I'm gonna go ahead and set the slow cook to 6 hours. 6 hours on low. Okay. While you're waiting, please make sure you have a sugar-free, and yes, I do mean sugar-free, a sugar-free barbecue sauce, 1.5 cups. We will need that in 6 hours. Primal Kitchen is the brand that's referred, and I will say it is the best brand for cooking. Whether you are low carb or not, you can always add on your traditional barbecue sauce of your choice as a topping when done. We were at the store yesterday, and once again, like I said, everything's low. So I ended up with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, no sugar added. But please stick with the no sugar added, and I'll explain more about that in 6 hours, but it has to do with the way that it cooks through. And at that time, I'll give you the nutrition facts. So I will be back in 6 hours when we are ready to shred the meat. All right, so it has been 6 hours, and let me just tell you what I've already done. I have already pulled the meat out and put it into a bowl. I'm gonna show that to you in just a moment. I have also taken the crock pot and degreased or pulled out all the grease. I'm only leaving 1/4 cup of the natural juices. So you wanna leave 1/4 cup. I would say have a spaghetti jar that is used and empty available to you, something that size, because I had close to 2 cups of juice that I had to take out. But there's 1/4 cup remaining in here, and it is time to shred the meat. And I wanna show you just how tender it is. And then we're gonna add the sauce, and I'm gonna explain specifically why we keep it no sugar at this point. For those of you that are non-low carb, the rest of us will keep it no sugar the entire time. So right now, let's turn it to the meat. All right, this is the dish I'm gonna be serving in. So I wanted to go ahead and shred because it's technically cooked. We just really wanna marinate all those flavors, but just literally look at how quick and easy it is just tearing apart from me. Super, super easy. Guys, this is such a great recipe. What we did last time and what we'll probably do this time is like today is day 1 and we'll eat it plain, just with the barbecue sauce and have a veggie on the side. Tomorrow, we're gonna be running errands all day. And so what I'll probably do is make a coleslaw, because pulled pork and coleslaw go really, really well together. And I won't use a bun, or maybe those of you who have a dash, you can make your own low carb bun in your mini dash, or use the Wonder Bread recipe for making your own homemade bun. And then your other family members can just, they can grab their own hamburger bun, but we're all eating together that way. And some people like to put their coleslaw directly on top of the pulled pork, and some people like to put it on the side, up to you. But that's what we're gonna do for night 2. And then night 3, because this makes a lot, guys. Night 3, I am going to put it into tacos and make shredded pulled pork tacos. So as you see, it's very versatile, and you can do lots of things with it. You could add it to your chili base with your ground beef, but you'll have a kick by having some barbecued pulled pork to it. Just add like, I don't know, a cup to a homemade chili recipe and give it a kick that you've never given it before. Lots of things that you can do with the leftover pulled pork. So you'll see that is easy and pretty much shredded. I could shred it more. I kind of like it chunky, so I think I'm gonna leave it. Just a few things I wanna do because I wanna show you how I add it all. And you'll see this is a 2-quart dish, so three pounds, and I will say this is technically slightly under 3. I bought that 4-pound, what was it? The pork shoulder that I had mentioned earlier, but I actually weighed my bone. This bone is huge, guys. I don't know. Yeah, so that bone is actually close to 2. So I only have about 2.5 pounds of meat. So if you can find it without the bone, I say go for it. Okay, here we go. I will put it back on my face shortly. I just want you to see what all I do. Crock pot's coming back out. 1/4 cup of juice is right there, kind of floating at the bottom for you. First, I'm gonna add all of this back in. So good. I wanna eat it like right now. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. So at this time, whoops, just a little bit. At this time, and once I get that around, 1.5 cups, 1.5 cups of a no sugar. Guys, I really, really highly recommend Primal Kitchen. And I will tell you on the link, they show you a link for Primal Kitchen, but they don't show you the barbecue sauce link. I promise Primal Kitchen does make a barbecue sauce link. It shows like a Chipotle or something, I don't know, something like that. But if you can get your hands on Primal Kitchen, like I said, it's tough at the grocery stores right now. They don't even use a sugar substitute or anything. So you're gonna get it super, super nice and juicy. I had to, as you heard earlier, swap mine for a different no sugar added one. But it is a little bit more of a higher carb content, and there is a slight addition of a sugar substitute. So I really, really, really recommend the Primal Kitchen in this step, which would be exactly 2 bottles. 2 bottles is equal to 1.5. And then whatever flavor you like to top your shredded pork with, have that for the dinner table and it'll be nice and warm. I would say at this point, if it's in your fridge because you've already used it, set it out now so it'll be nice and warm. So at this point, hopefully you can see, I'll do this to show you. It's looking good. It's looking really, really good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move that out of the way and I'm gonna look at you here in just a second. So now we're gonna do 1 more hour. So I'm gonna stop my particular one because it's electric. And I'm gonna do, come on. I have to go backwards on the timer. Okay, for me it says 1:15. I'll actually just stop it on the early side, and that's totally fine. Okay, so 1 hour. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, so that is literally it, and then we're gonna be ready to eat, and I'll have my veggies ready. So why not use your regular if you're not a low carb person? Well, number one, this is great for everybody to eat because once you put out your toppings of choice, low carb people like me, I'm gonna just use more no sugar added. My husband's gonna be using his hickory smoke version. My daughter's gonna be using what she likes. Everybody can use their own and everybody gets to eat healthy. But the biggest thing is how it cooks. If you use a traditional barbecue sauce that does contain sugar, which is 99.9% of all barbecue sauces, it's going to crystallize and make it sticky. That's what we like about a pulled pork when we add the topping at the end, but we always like it to be served nice and juicy. Guys, if you want it nice and juicy, you don't want it crystallizing during that last hour. So you need to keep the sugar out because sugar naturally crystallizes when it cooks. So stay no sugar added, please, at this point. And then low carbers, keto, paleo, diabetic friendly, all of us in the other courtroom, we're gonna continue to stay low sugar, but everybody else, once you plate up the food and you've got the juiciest pulled pork of your life, then you can top it and your particular stuff can go through that, and we will all be happy with what we have. So it has to do with how it cooks. So that's the note on that. Okay, serving size is 8 ounces. Now, that is a lot. A traditional serving of meat is anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces. And I'm a 4-ounce person at my weight. So I'm going to be doing half of this. 8 ounces would be somebody who probably is going to have 2 sandwiches worth. So I'm going to really quickly tell you the 8-ounce amount and then tell you the 4-ounce amount, which is also, I think, why we get 3 days out of it, because my daughter and I eat 4 ounces a piece. We're tinier, and my husband will have 2 sandwiches, but it works and it will last. So here we go. On the link you're gonna get, it's only gonna say 8 ounces at 576 calories. They didn't factor in the chicken stock or, and I used the Primal Kitchen. I'm gonna tell you that I use the ingredients based off of what I really want you to use for the best pulled pork you can have. So 1.5 cups worth of Primal Kitchen, which is 2 jars of the barbecue sauce. So with that said, it comes out to, for 8 ounces, you add the meat and you add the chicken stock and you add the barbecue sauce, and you get 556 calories for 8 ounces, which is 4 carbs, 4 total carbs. And then it's 0.7, so you can round up to 1 if you want, 0.7 of fiber. So if you're a net carb person, then it's gonna be 3.3 net carbs, or 4 carbs. Protein is gonna be 31 grams, and fat is gonna be 41 grams. Now that's if you do all 8 ounces. Like I said, most people are somewhere between 4 to 6. 4 is the equivalent to like 1 sandwich. So I'm gonna be doing 4 ounces. So that brings it down to 278 calories, 2 carbs, or subtract the fiber, which is 0.35 at that point, and it brings you down to 1.7 in net carbs for that. So 2 total carbs for 1.7 net, 20 grams of protein, 20.5 grams of fat. So that's the way I'll be having it. I will put that in the description since those numbers are not in there for you, and I know that there are many of you guys that track your fat and protein and carb macros. So I will definitely add that to the notes, and I'll be back when it is ready to plate up. All right, here we go. Look at that pulled pork. Nice and juicy and I'm serving it with a side of Brussels sprouts. So I hope you guys enjoy. And by the way, just so you guys can see how full my plate is, I went ahead and measured it. I have a food scale. This is 4 ounces of meat. So I'm doing half the serving size at 4 ounces. So, and you can have up to 6. So enjoy your pulled pork.